Official partners of WSC are Williamson is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Lukener certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable.
So there we go. Reigning champion Etienne Bax with the Kasper Stupilis it was back in 2019. Of course, Kasper Stupilis not here this weekend. Nicolas Mousset is now partnering Etienne Bax, and they have had some success in the past. If you cast back to 2017, which is 4 years ago now, where does the time go? They were world champions. 2018, they tried to retain that #1 plate, but Marvin van Lukener took his first world title in 2018. He'll be looking to be a double world champion come season's end with new passenger Robbie Bax, and they're certainly going the right way about it with a race win in yesterday's race. The full 25 points for the Belgian and the Dutchman, Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax. And you can see them on the gate in just a moment's time. Here we go, on the far left-hand side of the gates, and it will be the right-hand side of the screen when we get underway. It will be Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, the Dutch and the Belgian. So much talent between those two. And of course, Koen Hermans, only 22 years of age. Already showing some promising form in previous seasons, and it will only get better and better. Estonia's Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas from the Finland. They will line up on the left-hand side of the track as well, next to Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens. Kurt Varrick is 6 times Estonian champion now. As I say, powered by Husqvarna with a WSP frame to their right-hand side. We will have the 10 times world champion Daniel Williamson and his passenger Rodolphe Lebreton. Daniel Williamson, one of the most, if not the most experienced man in the World Sidecarcross Championship, taking his first world title back in 1997, believe it or not, before even I myself was born. That is how much experience that Daniel Williamson has got. And he himself yesterday said that it's been some years, some decades since he was last here racing. Next to his right will be number 31 of Julian Velban and Andre Chermak, just getting warmed up now. Justin Cuban, Nicky De Bruyne, number 14. They're in the middle of the left-hand side of the track, so the left-hand quarter for the 14 outfit. Gert van Verven, Ben van den Bogart, as I say before, a surprise pairing when that was announced, but it seems to be working for them. They've got a lot of confidence, and they can take yesterday's result into consideration and work from there. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, they weren't overjoyed with 3rd place, but for the first race of the season, you can't complain with that one. 20 points in the pocket of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. That is the left-hand side of the gate. Just to the right-hand side, there is Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax. Thumbs up from Marvin van Lukener. It looks as though that is Sven Visselink and Luc Rostang just putting them behind them on the 53 outfit. Jan and Pavel Bukal, the Czech pairing on their WSP frame Zabel-powered outfit. They had a good ride yesterday. They'll be looking to go some places better here today, in not only to this race, but also the 3rd race that will be coming at you live later on this afternoon. Lucas Cherney, Bastien Chopin, Jake Brown, Joe Millard. 2019, the first half wasn't their greatest, but they worked hard. They kept chipping away, and by the end of the season, here in Rudersberg in Germany, they finished 4th overall. Keep your eyes on the British pairing. 75 is to their right-hand side. Tim Lefferink and Kostas Paleskas, the Dutch and the Lithuanian. Then it's Fabian Hoffman and Marius Strauss, the Swiss pairing. Stephen Viges, Loïc van der Putten, the Dutch pairing. Thumbs up from Stephen. All good there. Marco Heinze, Rudy Betschart, the Swiss pairing. On the far right-hand side of the circuit. Here we go then. Not long to go until we get the race underway for race 2 of the FIM Sidecar World Motocross Championships here in Jinin. 15 seconds then, everybody making final preparations. You can see Stephen Viges just loosening himself up, getting those muscles warm, getting the joints ready for what will be a fantastic half an hour of action. So sit back, relax as much as you can and enjoy the action, because the gate has dropped already. Let's see who can get the whole shot. Looks like it was a good start there from the far right-hand side, but out in front, Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. Look at that. Daniel Willemsen, the 10-time world champion, out in front. What he needs to do is maintain that position, because this circuit is so hard to make an overtake on. Who is that going up into second place? Looks like the number 6 of Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas and Sven Visselink, and that is Sven Visselink in the mix as well. Egan Cops to the right-hand side there. Is that Jake Brown and Joe Millard? I don't believe it on the right-hand side of the picture. So the British pairing out already. Leaders coming down into the very difficult part of the circuit. Then we've got number 26 there, just going through. That's Jan and Pavel Bukau, the local pairing on number 26. But Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton out in front. Daniel Willemsen, perhaps the most experienced Sidecarcross driver, not only now, but of course throughout the entirety of the sport. It really is great to see what he can do from the front. He didn't have it all his own way yesterday. He had to fight through the pack and put in a harsh move on Gert van Verven and Ben Vanden Bogart. But he made it work and got inside that top 5, but he's going to be smiling through that crash helmet now. But even though Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas are right there breathing down his neck. Next up is the number 31 of Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. They finished second yesterday and they're still there in third place now. What a fantastic weekend they're having. They are just ahead. It looks like Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, and we've got some more as well. That's number 40 down, Romaric Chanteloup and Simon Viens with the number 61 on the right-hand side of the picture. The local pairing of Vladislav and Vyacheslav Pech. Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax sticking at the inside of Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. So that is the battle for 4th place and 5th place. Marvin van Luken goes from 5th to 4th, of course, but Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas looking to go with Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, who looks like they're trying to make a break already in the early stages of this race. Let's not forget we're still on the first lap, ladies and gentlemen. Over the very difficult part of the second. Oh, Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas got that almost very wrong over the top of that jump, but they got it all wheels in line once again. Julian Veltman, Andre Chermak, they're ready to pounce when they see the opportunity to do so. Look at that, Marvin van Luken and Robert Bax looking at the inside of Andre Chermak, who takes a quick look over his right-hand shoulder, but not close enough this time. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset look at the inside of Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, but not quite going to make a move this time around. Almost went wrong there for Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, but they got it all in line once again, as we will look down the pack as well. Number 3, Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, just ahead of the number 11 of Gert van Verven and Ben Vanden Bogart, the Dutch pairing on their TM-powered WSP-framed machine. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, so much talent on the number 111 outfit. There is Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssen, 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th, through as quick as you like. It looks as though Journey and Chopin are up into 8th ahead of the number 14 of Justin Kuban and Nicky de Bruyne. But rounding out the top 10 is number 99, Thomas van der Lagma and Rob Devine, who, if you was watching the qualifying session yesterday morning, they had a slight incident, but they're there inside the top 10, so all is well in number 99 camp. Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax 4th place. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset in 5th place. Just over half a second separates them here on the 2nd lap. That is the battle for 4th place. So Veltman and Chermak just up the road in front of them. Look at them right on the rear wheels of number 6 of Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, but Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. How many times has Daniel Willemsen led a race? That takes some time to work out, but he's going to make it one more, because he is out in front here for the race 2 from Jinin by just over a second, as they came under the gantry last time around. Van Verven, Vanden Bogart, they was holding a solid 5th place in yesterday's race. They're there in 6th place now. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, they'll be looking to try and make a move on Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, but there's a lot you can learn being in 2nd place if the man in front is Daniel Willemsen. You don't win 10 world championships for nothing, and not only 10 world championships, but over the duration of his career. The first one in 1997, and here we are in 2021. That is some 24 years. Number 2, Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. Of course, the world champion from 2018 was Marvin van Luken. That was back with Ben Vanden Bogart, who is now partnering Gert van Verven. they're there in a solid 6th place in the early stages of this race. The gap between Willemsen and Varrick drops to 0.8 of a second now, ahead of Veldman and Chermak. Then it's Van Lukener and Bax and Mousset in 5th. Hermans and Janssens down to 6th, ahead of Van Verven. Van den Bogart now in 7th place. Bukal and Bukal in 8th. Cuban and De Bruyne in 9th, with Cherney and Chopin rounding out your top 10, who got the better of Van der Lagma and Devine. Hoffman and Strauss, Van der Straal and Jensmans, Hindra and Betschart, Kralacek in 15th, with Zizlavsky and Handelik in the 16th. Van der Veld in 17th, Polushny and Rosson in 18th. Kops and Horton have got back going again. Good stuff for the Dutch and the British pairing in 19th, ahead of Viges and Van der Putten, who have got going as well. Leffering and Balescus must have got caught up in that incident because they're right there with them. So that is how the top 21 look at the end of the previous lap. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset working as hard as ever down that steep drop into the tight right-hander. Very difficult to get that right-hander, but Marvin Van Luken and Robbie Bax looks like they lost a little bit of drive, but Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, what's happened here? Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens have stopped on the inside of the circuit. They're losing vital positions. It looks like the rip roll on the goggles of Glenn Janssens may have been a primary factor in their stoppage, but they got back going again, but losing vital positions and vital points in their championship battle for Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens. Let's see where they end up come race's end. Fighting through the pack, getting their elbows out, they will be doing indeed throughout the remaining 23.5 minutes. Here we go then, into the final part of the circuit. First, second and third as quick as you like. A slight gap back to 4th place, which is still Marvin Van Lukener and Robbie Bax. The gap last time around between Willemsen and Varrick was 0.8 of a second. And would you look at that, it's 0.818 of a second again. That is how consistent it is at the front of the World Sidecarcross Championship here in 2021. The top 5 all locked together in battle. And you can see the rip roll on both of Marvin Van Lukener and Robbie Bax goggles coming loose again. So hopefully that doesn't cause too much of a distraction for the 2018 World Champion, and of course Robbie Bax, who finished 3rd in the 2017 Championship some 4 years ago. So much height, so much speed, so much talent in this field this year. One of the most competitive fields we have seen throughout the years of World Sidecarcross Championship, and how good to our spectators clapping and showing their appreciation for the riders and passengers out on circuit. Although I do suspect there may be a little bit of bias towards the passenger in 3rd place. Andre Chermak, a local rider, doing it for Czech Republic, doing them proud. Julian Veldman getting that machine absolutely sideways. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset getting a little bit off camber over the jump, but they got it all sorted in the end. Into the left-hander, locking up that rear wheel to bring the back round and square off the corner. But look how close it is. I can't believe how close it is with just over 20 minutes to go. Willemsen, Varrick, and Veldman ahead of Van Lukener and Bax. In yesterday's interview with Jaeger, we heard Etienne Bax say that he was okay with 3rd place, but he wants to be fighting for the win, of course. But he's down in 5th place now, so he's got some work to do, as Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. The reigning champion of 2019 is Etienne Bax, and of course Nicolas Mousset was his championship winning partner in 2017, as mentioned. Let's just take a moment just to watch these world-class athletes at work with their machine. Passenger and driver in synchronised harmony around this part of the circuit and back over the gantry once again. It's fantastic, fantastic stuff here in the World Sidecarcross Championship. Long may it continue. We've got a 4-round championship for you this year. And of course, let's not forget the Sidecar and Quadcross of Nations, due to be held in France in the beginning of October. Looks like there's a back marker coming to play already. Top 4, top 5 has made it through safely. It looks like it's going to be a challenge for 2nd place. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas got that a little bit wrong. They go from 2nd to 3rd, 3rd to 4th, because Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, you can hear in the background how much the fans are enjoying that one. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak go from 3rd to 2nd. Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas, one mistake drops you 2 positions. That is how closely contested it is here in the Sidecarcross World Championship. 1 mistake, 2 positions, vital points and vital positions lost. And look at that, they've already gone down to 5th place because Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset have promoted themselves up into 4th. round of applause all round. Air horns going wild around this Jinin circuit for the men in second place, Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak. The only men in front of them now is Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. Insane scenes here in the south of Czech Republic at Jinin. The MX Enduro Park is providing some awesome action on circuit. Daniel Willumsen, oh look at that, got a little bit iffy on the exit of that difficult corner. Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak, I know they do like that corner. Andre Cermak says he's made some fantastic moves in the past, not only on Etienne Bax but also Marvin van Leeuwen. Can he stick one on the 10 times world champion? Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak are the men we are talking about. Here we go down the back stretch then. The gap is just over a second between Willumsen, Lebreton and Veltman and Cermak. But Veltman and Cermak on that new CPD frame from Mega, the only CPD frame in the field. They're right on the rear wheels of Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton coming towards the end of this lap. A second place finish yesterday for the number 31 pairing. The 10-time world champion Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, a fifth place finish yesterday. They want to take home 25 points in here. The race 2 of 3 this weekend. A new race format here for the 2021 World Sidecarcross Championship. And it is providing some amazing action indeed. Here we go, up towards the top end of the circuit in the early parts of this Jinin circuit, into the left-hander of turn 2. Rodolphe Lebreton hanging off the left-hand side of that outfit. Daniel Willumsen doing everything he can to get the power down over the jump and into the difficult right-hander of turn 3. Rodolphe Lebreton, Andre Cermak. And in third place, it is Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax, but the passengers working absolute overtime. I would love to see what kind of lap times they're putting in here, because the pace out there is absolutely electrifying. Look at that, almost side by side as go over the jump. Can he make a move this time around? Look at the fans, they're willing him on. Go on, Andre Cermak, go on, Julian Veltman. That is what they're saying, but Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton, they will have something to say about that. You can guarantee it. Into the right-hander, Julian Veltman, Andre Cermak are the men we're looking at once again. The local hero, Andre Cermak. Into the right-hander now, Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton are making that machine as wide as the track itself, defending hard ahead of Veltman and Cermak. Van Leeuwen and Bax still there in third place ahead of Bax and Mousset. Varric and Kunas some way off this leading 4 now. Van Verven and Van Bogart are there in 6th place. The Czech pairing of Bukau, number 26 there in 8th. Kern Hermans, Glenn Janssens, look at that. They're inside the top 10 once again ahead of Van der Lagma and Devine. Feast your eyes on this, ladies and gents. World-class sidecar-cross racing live in Jinin. We are back for the 2021 World Championship, and you could not have asked for some better action. Look at this. Daniel Willumsen, the 10-time world champion, ahead of Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak, the local heroes. Andre Cermak doing Czech Republic proud, ahead of 2 men who have won both of the previous 2-3 championships. And that, of course, is Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset in 2017. Marvin van Leeuwen with Ben van den Bogart in 2018. Etienne Bax and Casper Stuplis in 2019. No 2020, but who is it going to be in 2021? We have a 4-round championship for that to be decided. And if the next 3 rounds are going to be as exciting as this, I'm going to lose my voice, my word. The order is still the same. Look at Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak using the grip from the outside to carry more corner speed over the jump. And it looks like third place is coming under pressure as well. Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax coming under pressure from Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Of course, Etienne and Robbie, brothers, of course, used to race together some years ago now, but now racing with different passengers and drivers respectively. Look at Julian Veltman and Andre Cermak trying to get the drive over the jump. Got it a little bit squirrely over the jump, but they're still there in second place. This race is going by so quickly. We're already approaching half race distance, and Daniel Willumsen and Rodolphe Lebreton still defending that number 1 position. Now the question is he maintaining that gap, or is he sandbagging a bit? Who knows? Maybe he's holding up the chasing 3, a 10-time world champion. He's got all the tricks and all the tactics that you could ever need in world sidecar cross racing. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, look at that. That's the first time we've seen that line from one of the sidecar cross guys. And it doesn't look as though it's paid off for Etienne Bax. And we've got a change for the lead. Daniel Williamson is down to second because the local riders, Andre Chermak, partner in Julian Veltman, are in the lead. You can hear the crowd go absolutely mental. Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak now out in front, and look at the gap they pulled already. A slight mistake from Daniel Williamson and Rodolphe Lebreton. Thumbs up asking if Rodolphe Lebreton is okay, but here we go then. What can Daniel Williamson do? This is the first time he has not led this race. Can he defend from Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax? They're looking to go the long way around. Do they do the switch back to the inside? No, they stay wheels in line. First, second, third and fourth. But look at Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. They are already about a second or two up the road. Question is, can they be caught? The crowd will go absolutely wild with delight if the order stays the same as this. But look how close they are. Second, third and fourth coming across the line within 1 second. Here we go then. This is the overtake. And as Andre Chermak was telling me on Friday, he loves that move, and look at that. That is why he loves it. Right up the inside of 10 times world champion Daniel Williamson and Rodolphe Lebreton. It doesn't come much better than that. And already out of sight and out of mind for Daniel Williamson. Here we're looking to regroup and gain as much ground as possible in the remaining 13 minutes and 45 seconds. Half race distance then, you would not believe how close it is on circuit, but listen to the crowd as Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak go around the tight left-hander. Fantastic stuff. Daniel Williamson and Lebreton. Wow, there's a bit of contact there with Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax, but they maintain their second place position. It really is heating up out there. We've got a hand up for Daniel Williamson. What's going on here? Daniel Williamson, is there a problem for the 10-time world champion? He's gone to the outside. Second, third, fourth now. I think we may have a problem for Daniel Williamson and Rodolphe Lebreton. We'll have to keep our eyes on that one. But the track, look at that, it's drying out compared to the earlier quad session because the goggles have stayed on. That is how muddy and dirty it was earlier. But look at that, Daniel Williamson and Rodolphe Lebreton, they go from first to fourth in the space of 1 lap. Not sure what's happening there. We'll definitely keep a close eye on that one. Kern Hermans and Glenn Jansen still there inside the top 10. Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax in the mix as well. Look at that, still defending their position from Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset. Fantastic scenes here in the south of the Czech Republic for the MX Enduro Park Jinin, round 1 of the championship. Number 15 just putting off the right hand side. That's a Czech pair in local men, Jan Polivka and Tomáš Rota. Just letting the leaders go by, but out in front by quite some margin. Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak, the Dutch and the Czech pairing. Look at that. In 2 laps, they've opened the gap up to 4 seconds. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, a further 5.1 behind Veltman and Chermak, with Williamson and Lebreton now 2.7 seconds behind Bax and Mousset. So what is going on for the number 111 outfit? Kurt Barrick, Larry Kunas for a good start. They're still there inside the top 10, top 5 position ahead of Van den Bogart with Gert van Verven on the handlebars. 11.5 minutes remain. And then we'll have the 2 laps at the end. Julian Veltman, Andre Chermak, what can you say? If they hold on to this position, they will come away from race 2, leading the overall championship. Oh, look at that. You can see the rear wheel fighting half traction there as they overtake another one of the back markers. So blue flags will be waving for that particular rider and passenger. But there is no trouble for our race leader of Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak around the halfway point of this lap now. Kern Hermans and Glenn Jansen well out in front of number 99, Van der Lagermaat and Rob Devine. Daniel Williamson and Rodolphe Lebreton, you can just see to the right-hand side of the screen there. Looks as though Kurt Barrick and Larry Kunas are regrouping and are almost on the rear wheel of the 111 machine. Into that difficult right-hander where 2 or 3 laps ago we saw that race lead overtake from Veltman and Chermak ahead of Williamson and Lebreton, but in the space of 5 minutes, look at how much they have opened up, look at how much has changed. That is what we love about this sport. Fantastic, adrenaline-packed sport that we have here. And of course, 3 rounds after this one. Not only that, we've still got another race later today. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset still there in third place. So if they maintain their third place position, they will have 2 20-point scoring races and will have 40 points overall come races end. Still the tear off on the goggles of Marvin van Lukener, blowing in the breeze as they come under the gantry once again. Less than 10 minutes to go now for our race leaders. There is the race leader of Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. It's now 2.1 seconds, so Van Lukener and Bax are charging hard after the number 31. But this circuit is very, very difficult to overtake on. We saw Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak stick it up the inside of Dan Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton. And if you cast your minds back to yesterday, we saw Dan Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton have a very tough move on number 11, Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart. There they are, just going through picture. You can see how steep it is on the drop down from turn 3 into turn 4. But in the background, it sounds as though Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak are heading in front of the Czech fans. And we've got a fantastic battle here between number 14 of Justin Kuban and Nicky Braun ahead of Pavan Jan Bukal. Just behind them, Varric and Kunas now ahead of Willemsen and Lebreton as predicted. Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens, look at that. They may be in 10th place at the moment, but they could soon fight their way back up into the top 6 positions. Van der Lagermaat and Devine defending their 11th place position from Hoffman and Strauss. Heinzer and Betchart ahead of Van der Stralen and Jens Mans. 15th place, just behind Van der Stralen and Jens Mans by some margin as well. But there is number 14, the Dutch and the Belgian pairing on their VMC frame, the Zabel engine outfit, Curvin and De Bruyne. Awesome action wherever you look on this circuit. It was an awesome battle for the lead in the early part of this race, but look at that. We are looking at the battle here for 7th place involving 4 riders, with the 10th place finisher, current 10th place man, Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens just behind 25 of Cherney and Bastien Chopin. They're looking this way, they're looking that way, chopping and changing with each and every corner, trying to find a way through. But as I say, it's a very, very difficult circuit to overtake on is the MX Enduro Park here in Jinin. They're doing a sterling job indeed. Look at that. All right-hand outfits here for 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. That, of course, seems to be the favoured one here in Jinin. So, of course, Jake Browner and Joe Miller, the one with the left-hand sidecar, unfortunately getting tangled up on the opening lap after the gate. So close wherever you look. Curvin and De Bruyne, Bukal and Bukal, Cherney and Chopin, Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens. 1.5 seconds covers 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Here we go. Back to the battle at the front now. We're going to have a back marker coming into play, but it's still Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak leading the way. There we go. Sideways into the difficult right-hander. There's Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax, the Belgian and the Dutch pairing. Right on the rear wheels, they're ready to pounce whenever Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak make a mistake, if they make a mistake. That is the question we have on our hands, with 6.5 minutes remaining in this race and the additional 2 laps when the countdown runs out. If you are new to the sport, then feast your eyes on this. You do not want to miss any of the action. We've had race 1 yesterday, which was won by the men in the middle of your picture there, Marvin van Lukener and Robbie Bax, by 10 seconds over the men who currently lead now, Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. So many world champions, so many race wins, and so many podiums within these guys that we have on screen. We're going to have a few slower riders just coming into play towards the back end of this lap. Hopefully, the lead in 1, 2 and 3 can get through safe and sound. But of course, this is always a question when it comes to World Sidecarcross racing. The back markers can either work for or against you. Into the final part of the circuit, it's such a challenging part of the circuit, is that you've not only got to contend with the direction changes, but the elevation changes as well. And you've got to make sure to not over jump or actually lose a whole bunch of time. There we go, one of the back markers just going out wide and looking back to see Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset see when they have gone through, so that they get clear track. Gets it back to Nicholas Mousset. Looks like they're just going to squeeze through on the 88 of Martin Zizlawski and Jan Handelik, the local parent on the WSP Mega. First, second and third safely through then on those machines. As we look at Etienne Bax go down in third place. Through the jumps and up the other side. It really is fascinating to see how much elevation change there is at this racetrack. Once again, the air horns going mental in the background for Andre Chermak, and not only that, but his driver as well, the Dutchman Julian Veldman. Fingers crossed from the Czech fans that they can hold on to this position to go second in race one and the coveted first place in race two. We will have to wait and see. Only time will tell, and come race's end, we will have the answers we are so eagerly anticipating. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, as I said earlier, they are the only ones on the CPD frame with the Zabel engine, and CPD is the Cornelissen Personal Dienst, which is what the CPD stands for. And it looks like Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax lost a little bit of time. Can Etienne Bax and Nicholas Mousset capitalise that? So close, as the second place riders go to the inside with 82, Etienne Bax and Nicholas Mousset opting to go for the outside to try and carry that much more corner speed than Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. Down the back stretch they go, looking at first, second and third. Over the jump, so much work and so much stamina is needed for this sport. But Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, they've lost a little bit of ground on Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. But with 3.5 minutes to go, plus the 2 laps, the question on our minds is, can they catch up? And not only that, can they make a move for not only the lead, but the race win come race's end? Another lap look complete for first, second and third in our race. Less than 3.5 seconds covers the number 31, the number 2 and the 82. Second place, number 2, Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, of course. Let's not forget that Marvin is now a father. He's recently had a baby boy called Bentley, and Robbie Bax is new passenger for this year, so it has all changed since 2019 for Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax. Marvin, just 25 years old, still in his mid-20s, is the 2018 world champion. He's had 5 overall victories in the past and 24 podiums, whereas Robbie, slightly older, almost in his 30s now, is Robbie Bax at 29 years of age, third in the 2017 championship, 2020 Dutch champion. He has had 8 overall wins with various drivers and 28 podiums to his name as well. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, this is an absolutely storming ride. Whoa, look at that. That is why the passenger is so important to position themselves in the correct way. Andre Chermak had to compensate for the track terrain there, as you saw. It dropped away quite viciously to the left-hand side, but Andre Chermak knows what he is doing. He's not in the lead for nothing. Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, less than 2 minutes to go now, and it's still quite a large gap between himself and race leader Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. But if anyone can do it, it will be the 2019 runner-up and 2008 world champion, Marvin van Luken. Daniel Willemsen, Rodolphe Lebreton still there inside the top 5 ahead of Gert van Verven and Ben van der Bogart. Then it's that battle between Kerben and De Bruyne, Bukal and Bukal, Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens into 9th place now ahead of Tjerney and Chopin, Heinzer and Betschar, Van der Lagermatt and Devine, Hoffman and Strauss, Van der Strahlen and Mans just behind. So much action in this race already. We're coming into the twilight of the race now. Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, the crowd are going to go absolutely wild if they can hold on to this and score the 25 points, which they so eagerly want. And on the new CPD frame as well. A few different frames in this race. We've got the WSP and the VMCs, of course, and the CPD, with a few different engine manufacturers in a variety of those different frames as well. So we've got a KTM in Marco Heinzer and Rudy Betschart, the Swiss pairing. We've got the Zabel, which of course we all know and all love, the 2-stroke there. The Megas, the Husqvarnas, and the AMS in Koen Hermans and Glenn Janssens, who's still there in 9th place. We're looking at Marvin van Luken and Robbie Bax, but here is the race leader, Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. So 20 seconds left. They're going to have 2 laps remaining when they go past the gantry. So just 2 laps, about 4.5 minutes separates themselves from a race win. It will be absolutely amazing if they can hold on to it. But we see it yesterday, they did an amazing job of defending their second place position. They wanted to go one better, and that is exactly what they're doing. They've set out their plan, they're carrying out the plan, and they're doing it with masterclass form. Look at that. You couldn't write the script. Julian Veldman, of course, only 22 years old. Andre Chermak now 36, so a bit of an age difference between driver and passenger. 5th place in 2018 for Julian Veldman, 5th place in 2016 for Andre Chermak, and he did have quite a nasty get-off in the early part of 2018, so much so that he didn't know if he was going to be able to race again. Thankfully for himself, and not only that, thankfully for us, he's out there and he's doing such a fine job partnering Julian Veldman for the first time this year. So the clock, as I say, has hit 0 now as they come around the final part of the circuit. One more jump, and then the final jump under the gantry to get the 2 laps remaining board, and that is all that separates themselves from a race win. Julian Veldman has had 1 overall win before and 4 podiums. Andre Chermak has had 3 third places and 3 podiums. So I think it's safe to say, out of the top 5, they were probably not the favourite. But if you did watch yesterday's race, you know they were a dark horse for this one. And if you was a betting man, then you've got a good choice there in Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. Into fast left-hand, but look how much corner speed Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak carry on that CPD-framed mega outfit. Back marker getting out of the way, so blue flags flying for that particular outfit. Trying to get the power down. You can see the ruts are starting to form quite heavily now on the exit of that corner. Quite a slow corner as well. One of the slowest on the track. So from the word go, Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak were just waiting, ready to pounce. They were there in 3rd place behind Varric and Kunas, who unfortunately had that mistake coming around turn 3 into that drop that dropped them down into 5th place behind Van Luken, Bax and Willemsen. But they're in 4th place now, and that is time's gone by because we have 1.5 laps remaining for Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. Marvin Van Luken and Robbie Bax, try as they might, it doesn't look as though they have an answer for the number 31 just in front. They're trying everything that they can. Look at that, going for the wider line to carry more corner speed. But the pace at the front of Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak, it would seem, is just too much in the dying stages of this race. But of course, it's not over until you go past the checkered flag. As cliched as it is, it's a cliche because this is the way it is. This is true. We've seen it before time and time again. But fingers crossed for Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak to keep this all together into this very difficult chicane. Only 1 more lap to go when they go through the gantry. This time around, the air horns are going mental once again because they know they have 1 more circulation for their man Andre Chermak, partnering Julian Veldman, who is on the bars, before they can take 25 points. Van Lukener and Bax up next ahead of Bax and Mousset onto the final lap. And it looks as though we've got a long way back to 4th place, who is Kurt Varric and Larry Kunas. So Kurt Varric now 6 times an Estonian champion in the Sidecarcross Championship. With Larry Kunas, his Finnish passenger. They were so close in the early stages of this race, but look at that, it's all spread out now. Back once again in front of a whole host of spectators. The check flag is flying for Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. We've got a slow rider just coming into play now. Looks as though that is the number 99 of Thomas van der Lagma and Rob Devine, who unfortunately had a tumble in the qualifying session, but they're going strong in around 12th or 13th place. So good points for that particular pairing, but it's all eyes towards Julian Veldman and Andre Chermak. Marvin Van Lukener and Robbie Bax, try as they might, they just cannot get onto the rear wheels of the number 31. So much style and pace from our race leaders, Marvin Van Lukener and Robbie Bax. They haven't given up though. The red mist has well and truly descended on the 2018 World Champion, 2019 runner-up. So many race wins and podium finishes in this field. but it looks as though Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak are going to take the win in this one. Half a lap to go then for number 31 before they can lay claim to 25 points. Julian Veltman from the Netherlands, Andre Chermak, local man from the Czech Republic. Here we go, just one more hairpin in front of our camera position here before they're on the home stretch. Just a few more jumps, that difficult chicane, 2 more jumps, and then you will have to wait and see for not only their reactions, but the fans' reaction. We hope you've enjoyed this dramatic race here in a race 2 for the FIM World Sidecarcross Championship, but taking the race win in 25 points, it is Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. Number 31, second yesterday, first today. They did what they set out to do, taking the race win ahead of Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax. The gap at the end was 1.5 seconds. Bax and Mousset in a solid third place position once again. 7.8 seconds was the gap between Veltman and Chermak with Bax and Mousset. Fourth place was Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas. I think it is still the same. We'll have to wait and see when they come across the finish line gantry. A couple of the back markers fighting over the minor places, and there is Kurt Varick and Larry Kunas. Some 24 seconds adrift from Bax and Mousset. Next up should be Daniel Willemsen, and there he is right on cue. Daniel Willemsen and Rodolphe Lebreton finished just ahead of the number 11 of Gert van Verven and Ben van den Bogart. So Willemsen and Lebreton, who led the race in the early part of this race, look at that. You can just see how happy they are in their eyes. Kerben and De Bruyne come home 7th ahead of Bukal and Bukal. Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens, who were running a solid 6th place until they had an issue and had to pull off to the inside opposite the pit area, come home in 9th. So damage limitation there for the number 3 in the world, Kern Hermans and Glenn Janssens, with Lucas Cherney and Bastien Chopin rounding out your top 10. Congratulations all around. Julian Veltman congratulating Rodolphe Lebreton and Daniel Willemsen. Andre Chermak will be absolutely delighted with that. Local man here, taking a race win in the second race of 3 this weekend. Absolutely amazing scenes. Who would have thought? So much drama, so much action in this race. And of course, let's not forget, we still have one more to go later on this afternoon. There is Etienne Bax. He doesn't look too happy with 3rd place, but still a podium finish for the reigning world champion Etienne Bax. Nicolas Mousset. Try as he might. He was in 5th place for a long time during that race, but came home in the bronze medal position. You can see how hard they have to work throughout that race. 35 minutes was how long the race was. And that is one of the toughest workout regimes, if you like, that a rider and passenger can go through. This circuit is so difficult. So many elevation changes, so many big jumps, and so many tight corners to contend with. But the man on top is Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. We'll get confirmation of that in just a second. But here we go. This is the 3rd place men, Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset, looking to rekindle the 2017 magic that brought them the World Championship. They were running so close to Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax, but try as they might, they could not get in front. Solid 20 points then for the 82, but we're looking at the number 2 then of Marvin van Leeuwen and Robbie Bax, 2nd place in the second race. So 1st place yesterday, 2nd place today, and vice versa for Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. 2nd place yesterday and a 1st place in the second race of 3 this weekend. Julian Veltman and Andre Chermak. Nobody could take the fight to them in the end. As soon as they got in front, they put in the gap and they controlled the race from that point onwards. Smiles all around then from the fans around this Jinin circuit, which is so good to see. It's so good to have fans back trackside, and I hope you're enjoying it at home, because my, the action out there is intense. So hopefully we'll be able to have a word with podium finishes in just a second. But let's just take a moment to take a breather and reflect on what has just happened. Marvin van Leeuwen, Robbie Bax, Julian Veltman, Andre Chermak on 47 points. First place for number 2, second place for number 31. Etienne Bax and Nicolas Mousset on 40 points thanks to their 2 third-place finishes in the first and second race. Daniel Willemsen, Rodolphe Lebreton finished 5th in both of the races to put themselves in 4th place ahead of Kurt Varrick and Larry Kunas. Van Verven, Van den Bogart, Czerny and Chopin, Kermans and Janssens damage limitation in both races. What can they provide for us in race 3? Jan and Pavel Bukal, the Czech pairing, in 9th ahead of the Swiss pairing of Marco Heinze and Rudy Betschar on 21. Tom van der Lagemat, Rob de Veen, Netherlands and Belgium pairing in 11th on 16 points ahead of Kerben and De Bruyne on 14, Wiesjes and Van der Putten on 13th. Then both on 12 points is Hoffman and Strauss, Van der Schraden and Jens Mans, Lefrink and Baleskas on 11 with Jake Brown and Joe Millard. They need some good luck. If they didn't have any luck, they'd have bad luck. Romarek Chanteloup, Simon Vianes, Martin Cieslawski, Jan Hanelik, Jan Polivka, Thomas Rotter round out the top 20. And the final 4, Joachim Reumann, William Letweiler, Stacey and Alex van der Velde, Sven and Luc Rostang, who got involved in 2 start line incidents in the first 2 races. And rounding out the winners and riders is Latislav and Vitislav Pech. So, as I was saying, if Jake Brown and Joe Millard didn't have bad luck, they would have no luck at all. So what can they provide for us in race 3? More action coming at you in the 3rd race later on today. So thank you very much for joining us. We're going to take a short break once again, and we'll see you back later on. Thank you very much.
Willemsen is 10 times the world champion. Bax and Stupilis, they've done it again. Unbelievable. Marvin van Leeuwen certainly deserves the red plate. And what an incredible sport this is. Fast, high and spectacular. Unbelievable. Official partners of WSC are